previously on Darker Things.
I was just a big liar, and I really was just a big liar.
I got a phone call from a lawyer in Fayetteville who had Vicki Hutcheson sitting at her desk.
Victoria, would you raise your right hand, please?
Said she's ready to recant her trial testimony.
Took back, and then these kids took their clothes off, and I looked at Damien. I said, I want to leave.
I testified to it, but I lied on the stand.
Today, we dive deep into the perplexing twists and turns of the West Memphis 3 case, focusing on a key figure whose statements would leave an indelible mark on the investigation. Enter Victoria Hutcheson. Join me as we unravel the Vicki Problem. The West Memphis 3 case captivated the nation, but amid the chaos, one individual's ever-changing testimony stood out. Victoria Hutcheson. Okay, so that would have been them joining Scouts a little less than a year before the murders.
But Todd Moore was their Cub Scout dad. He was the big guy, and then Diana Moore, his wife, and I were Cub Scout moms. So we pretty much we were the Cub Scout gang.
Now, I remember being at Cub Scouts. It was a great time for me, and my mom was actually a den mother. So, what did you do as a Cub Scout mom?
We would go to all the meetings.
Oh, so you became good friends with Diana.
Yeah, Dana Moore was like my very best friend.
Now, before I start diagramming, before I try and keep all these names straight, is her name Diana or Dana?
Her name is Diana, but everybody called her Dana.
You guys were really good friends and used to go to the Cub Scout meetings. What would you guys do in these Cub Scout meetings?
Todd basically ran them, and they worked for their little badges. Todd ran the meeting, and as moms, we just kind of sat there and oversaw the boys. But they always let us know when they were having a meeting. Just kind of hung out, talked, and, it was just really fun to be around all the boys.
But let's see, there's you, Dana, Todd. Who else was there? Did Edie's parents go to the meetings, or did the Byers boys' parents go to the meeting?
Christopher's parents did not go to the meetings, no. I don't ever remember seeing them there. I think Pam has gone before, but she had to work at night.
Oh, right. She had the job at the catfish restaurant, right?
And now we present Unveiling the West Memphis 3, the Vicki Problem Part 2. Vicki continues to speak about the 3 slain boys and her son being in Cub Scouts together.
I'm not sure whether he went at night or not. Terry's kind of quiet, not real noticeable. And I didn't really pay that much attention, didn't really know when much. But Mark and Melissa never went, no.
Okay, so we've cleared that, Terry wasn't all that noticeable. He kind of flew under the radar, didn't go to the meetings. You've said Melissa and Mark were at the meetings. Now, there's been some indication or some implication, rest in peace, on John Mark Byers, but did you get anything weird about him? Struck you as odd, where you need to be careful? Where you thought, this guy is dangerous, or, you got any bad feelings? Was there anything that happened that was strange?
There's truthfully, there's quite a few things that happened during this time that, I was new to that area. Dana being my one and only friend. Melissa was Dana's friend. She came over to Dana's house, and she said that once again that her curling irons were missing, and their plunger stick was missing again, and the Vaseline was gone again, and you know what I'm talking about. That was the conversation. Now looking back, I see that there's a problem. Then I didn't pay that much attention to it. Both of my sons came home from the Byers' house and said that they smoked funny cigarettes. They smelled funny. Mark Byers came down and knocked on my front door and told me that Aaron had been at their house running around their pool the day before. And instead of attending to it then, he wanted to come tell me about it, which made no sense to me.
So, Aaron was doing something that needed to be corrected, running around, maybe destroying some property at the house, and wasn't addressed?
I guess. I never understood that.
Okay, but why do you think that John Mark Byers came to your house?
I don't know. I told him that if Christopher were at my house doing something wrong, I would attend to it. And that if Aaron didn't behave himself at their house, that maybe Aaron didn't need to go back. So there was just a lot of things that went on around that time that were strange. Mark Byers is a strange character. And I've said it, I will say it to his face. You know, I don't care. Christopher took a school picture, and you can look the school picture up. He's in the 2nd grade at Weaver Elementary, and his face is completely demolished. And he was told to say he fell off his skateboard. That, in fact, did not happen.
All right, Victoria. I like to call a spade a spade. What are you saying exactly? Are you saying that John Mark Byers beat his son?
He told Aaron that beat him up. Well, several times that statement was made. I should have called Scan. I beat myself up now, not calling Gannon, but I did not do that. And but there's several incidences that happened. And Todd Moore, when I moved to that town, Todd did not like Mark Byers for some simple fact that Mark Byers put dog shit in his front yard. I don't know what that was about and don't have a clue what was going on, but now they're best of buddies and I'm the big liar.
So you're basically saying because they share the loss of losing their sons to these murders, they've become friends?
Today, they're the best of buddies.
Okay, hold up. Let's go back. Pump the brakes just a little bit. Help me understand what the relationship was like between Byers and Moore.
I don't even think they were friends. I'm not sure.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, were there any indications or indicators to you that there was tension between Todd Moore and John Mike Byers? Did Todd Moore behave a certain way?
He would watch out his top 2-story window.
So help me out here. Why do you think Moore was trying to keep such close tabs on Byers?
I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I can sit and speculate and tell you things. I'm tired of people calling me a liar because that's speculation on my part. What I tell you that comes out of my mouth right now is absolute truth that I heard with my own ears at that time. Because I'm tired of being called a liar, but I'm also tired of hearing all the lies that have went on in everything that's been made up about this whole case when I know for facts that did not happen. Right. That this was not the way it went down.
Now, it's been told to me before, or I have to admit, or how they've been married, I can agree with this point to some point, that no one knows our secrets or knows our little idiosyncrasies, behaviors, or habits than our spouse. Lots of times they know our secrets. Talk to me a little bit about Melissa Byers. We spent some time around her. Said she was good friends with Dana. You talk to me a little bit about Melissa?
She called me on, I had moved to Harrison, Arkansas, and on 60 acres because I was scared. I really wanted to get away from people contacting me and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we moved to Harrison with Pete Ramsey, who was a good friend of mine. And we had 60 acres of farmland out there. Uh-huh. And so nobody knew a phone number or anything, and he was ex-military. He was a ex-Marine, and so I was going to stay there with him. And I mean, I'm talking burn your the only heat was burning some wood, and you had to get your own water, everything. I mean, it was real intense. I was scared. Yes, I was scared because I was scared of Mark Byers.
And this was in 1996, right? So 3 years after the murders?
Yes.
So obviously, you said you were scared. That's the whole reason for moving. You said you were actually scared of Mark. Is that because you thought he had killed, his own son?
Yes. Yes, Aaron was with me.
Okay.
And there was really nothing to do but like look around in the woods and stuff. If you're playing a Baldwin or something like that, but there was a phone there, but it wasn't in my name. So no one really knew I was there. And Melissa got a hold of me, called me on the phone wanting to speak to Aaron.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. No, she was adamant about it. She wanted to talk to him. And she said she knew that he was telling the truth. I just was like, no, that's not going to happen. And I said, I love you, Melissa, but I really don't want you to speak to him. So then the next day on TV, I heard that she had died.
So basically what you're saying is Melissa was trying to talk Aaron because she had come to the belief that Byers killed Chris.
Yes, it was that's just how weird this whole thing is.
Man, that must have been revelation. I heard you guys the next day. That's kind of scary. So help me connect the dots. Let's go back a little bit. Can you talk to me about the events leading up to the murders and the day of the boys were discovered and how you came to get involved in the case?
Aaron was going still to Weaver Elementary in West Memphis, even though we had moved to Marion. I had asked Weaver could he finish out the school year there because I didn't want to transfer him to Marion yet. I had arrived there to pick him up from school, so I guess it was about 3:15 or 3:30 in the afternoon. I drove an S10 truck, a little small truck, and I arrived there on the side, and Michael Moore got on one side of my truck and Christopher Byers got on the other side of my truck, and they called me Miss Vicki. They were, all excited, hyper, and jumping on the truck there. Miss Vicki, Aaron we have a Cub Scout thing tonight, and Aaron has to go to it. And being all hyper, and Aaron has to go to the Cub Scout thing tonight because if he doesn't, he's going to get kicked out of Cub Scouts. That was Michael Moore's thing, because his dad was the Cub Scout leader. I was like, well, if there was a Cub Scout thing tonight, I would know, Michael. And well, there is one. And Aaron has to go where he's going to get kicked out. And Chris was like, yeah. And I said, well, then he's going to get kicked out. Okay? No, he's going to get kicked out. For real. And I said, no, he'll have to get kicked out then because he's not going to go. And you know what? I would know because I'm a Cub Scout mom. Well, he'll get kicked out then. I said, well, he's not going. And they were like, just real adamant about him going. And I actually had to tell him to get off my drive. And I said, come on, Aaron, we got to go because I got to go to work. He said he didn't say anything. He just got in the truck. And got in the truck. And we pulled out a Weaver. And oh my God, he was so freaking mad at me. He threw the biggest fit. I mean, he kicked, granted, Aaron was a mean little kid, but he kicked my dash in with his feet and was throwing the biggest fit because I did not let him stay with Mike and Chris, go to this Cub Scout thing. And I was like, hey, look, boy, I'll pull this truck over and bust your butt.
Okay, so this is actually the day that the boys disappeared that you talk about, the events prior to their disappearing. The boys had tried to convince you to take, or let Aaron go with them, rather, because there was some sort of Cub Scout meeting. You say you were a Cub Scout mom before, that's how you knew there was no meeting, right?
Yeah, they weren't meeting that night. And I was like, because I would have pulled the truck over and just busted his butt, for Aaron, right? Because he was acting up. And he didn't care. He was still part of it. But he didn't have much to say. He was just acting up like a little brat. So I said, you know what? I don't care if it is your birthday. I will bust your butt. I said, you're having your birthday party Friday, and they're going to come and have to your party and maybe spend the night. I hadn't cleared it with Dana or Melissa that they could spend the night, but that was the plan. Maybe that they could spend the night with them or have a sleepover or something. Maybe if you Chuck E. Cheese or something, something special.
Oh, I'm just not getting it. So, May 4th, the day before the boys are discovered dead, was actually your son Aaron's birthday.
Yes. And so it didn't matter. He was still throwing a fit. So he calmed down by the time we got to the trailer park. And his babysitter opened the door, so I knew she was there. And I was just going to drop him off and go to work. And he was getting ready to get out, and he said, Mom, I don't have any homework, so I just want to go to the Twins and play Nintendo. Is that okay? And I said, well, are you sure you don't have any homework? No, I don't have any homework. And I said, well, you don't have any homework. If you go to the Twins and you play Nintendo, you make sure that you're home by the time pole light comes on or right at dark. And he was like, I will be. He just went out of the truck. And so I think I hollered out the window at her that he was going to go to the Twins and play Nintendo. I can't really remember. That was the deal, which is what he did anyway all the time. Usually if he had homework, going into his homework. But he was always home by the time the pole light came on. That was that was the deal with almost all the mothers. That was the thing. They came home before the pole light in the street.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I mean, I was raised in the 70s and 80s, so those pole lights, the ones that come on right at sunset, that was back actually what most of our parents told us at the time. Be home by dark. For my kids, I've had to be home before that light came on.
So his babysitter actually called me, and he was not home yet in the pole light had come on.
So Aaron's babysitter is obviously concerned he's not home when the pole lights come on. You're getting a call at work.
I'd gone to work, I'd been at work, and the pole light had already came on.
Where did you work?
At a convenience store down the street. And I was thinking of the name. I can't remember the name of it. It was a little convenience store down the street. They were married.
Okay, so you got a phone call from the babysitter, and she said that he was not home.
She said that he was not home yet. And that really wasn't a big deal. It was a tight little trailer park there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when we're returning events, especially talking about missing persons or murders, the cops always try and get you down to a timeline. Do you kind of recall around what time it was that she called you?
I don't.
Was it before dark?
It was right at dark. And I don't know if I told you this or not, but we lived close to Jessie Misskelley, and he was a good friend of ours, a good friend of mine. Aaron and Jessie were very close. It was like a brother to Aaron. When I first moved to the trailer park, I was living in Uncle Johnny's little travel trailer. He would bring food over to me and Aaron. He would actually play with Aaron. He was good to me and Aaron. So, if he saw Aaron there, he would bring him home even, or just as a kid. He was like a brother to Aaron. He was like a brother to me.
Right. And it was kind of your connection to Jessie Misskelley that brought the police to interview him. And then there was that full worst confession thing. But let's focus on your story here. So the babysitter called you, right? Aaron's not home.
Aaron's not home yet. I said, don't worry, call down to the Twins, see if he's still down there playing Nintendo, tell him to get his ball home. She hangs up. And I guess she calls down to the Twins. I don't know what happened. Anyway, she calls me back, and I guess Aaron is not home yet, is what she was getting ready to tell me. She said, never mind, he just walked in. See, so it was over. And
Do you remember what time you got off work?
I got off at 7 in the morning.
Oh, so you worked the overnight shift. I've worked that shift before at the convenience stores and gas station.
Yes, all night.
Okay, I'm just trying to get my facts straight, get a timeline together. How much time do you think had passed between the first call between your babysitter and the next call of her telling you still wasn't there and then he walked in the door? You remember?
I really don't. I just don't remember. That's not something that was important at that time. You know, I just don't remember. I don't recall it. I couldn't recall it for the police in West Memphis or Marion. I just don't. That I was busy at work. I don't know. No idea. I don't know. I would like to. I'd like to recall the time, but I just don't. See, I don't know what he even did. I haven't spoken. She and I are great friends or anything now. I guess I don't know. I don't even know the whole story with her. So anyway, I got up at 7 that morning. I always had to go home and get Aaron up, get him dressed, and take him to West Memphis to Weaver to school because I wanted him to finish out that school year. So I'd gotten off work. I'm tired. I had to go and she laid on the couch and slept. I walked in. I went back to where he was sleeping. And I said, Kyle, you need to get up because it's time to go to school. We got to get you dressed. So go ahead and get up and let's get ready for school. And, just like any other kid, you practically have to drag him out of bed.
And was Aaron acting different? Was it cool that maybe something gone on the previous night that was bothering him? Did he see Bob?
He's asleep. It's regular right now. He's asleep.
Got it.
He's like knocked out. It's regular.
Okay. So you got home, you're waking Aaron up, you're taking to school on May 5th at the end of the disappearance. Go on.
So I went in there and I told him to get out of bed. Let's get up and get ready for school. It takes 2 or 3 times to get him to move around. And so finally I get him up and he sits up on the side of the bed. And, he's kind of groggy. And then he looks at me and said, I don't know where my shoes are. I lost my shoes. And I'm like, what? You lost where did you lose your shoes at? How did you lose your shoes? And so, I'm a normal mom and I'm thinking he just doesn't want to go to school. And he said, I just lost my shoes. And I'm like, what? I said, well, you know what, Aaron? You got some hiking boots. You wear your hiking boots. So I dig in the closet and I get his hiking boots out. I have to put his clothes together and get his stuff out for him. And so I get all this stuff and God is like dragging like a snail. This isn't my son. My son has ADD or ADHD. So, like 10 minutes out of bed, Aaron's like usually bouncing off the ceiling walls and everything else. I'm usually begging for, him to take his medicine but not today. He's like moving like so slow. It's like everything's in slow motion. It was crazy. But I'm like on him. Like, Aaron, come on, we're gonna be late. Aaron. But finally, he's got his clothes on. Finally, he's inching down the hallway. He's not talking. He's not being the normal Aaron. And I'm like, wow. I thought maybe it was me. I was tired or cranky or something. And so there was this thing about being a Cub Scout. Him and Michael Moore, they took their Cub Scout shirt with them every day to school. Every day, Damien, every day in their backpack. They took that Cub Scout shirt and they put it on when they got to school. And it was always in his backpack with him to go to school so him and Michael could wear it. Well, he opened that. He like got his backpack. He's got it unzipped, putting that Cub Scout shirt wasn't in that backpack. It just wasn't. It was just a weird day. It just started out a weird day. And, I split off, as working all night, tired, whatever. So anyway, I just rushed him. Let's go. Let's get out the door. Let's go to school. So I got him in the truck and we're driving to school, and he doesn't say a word all the way to school. Not one word to me. This little boy that has talked my ear off every day since he was able to talk has nothing to say to me. It was weird. It was the hindsight weird, to me. That day, I just blew it off. At Weaver School, when I got there, Weaver School is set up where you pull up, the principal's office is, you walk in and here's the principal's office. Aaron's class, he would have to come out and then walk around the class on the outside. I sat there on the outside because we arrived there at like 8, I think, which usually he would get there probably 15 till. So I told him that day to go to the principal's office. I would sit there and wait until he told the principal and went to class. And I don't know why that day. Don't know why, but I did. And he said, okay. And he walked slow all the way to the principal. Walked slow all the way to his classroom. Hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
I'm recalling how West Memphis said that there was 5 or 6 cops in Weaver parking lot that day. No, absolutely not. Being a mother, even though people say I was a horrible mother, even a horrible mother would have noticed 5 or 6 cops in that parking lot. There was no cops in that parking lot that day.
And what time did you get to the school?
I dropped him off there at 8 o'clock. I was facing that direction where that parking lot was. I would have seen 6 fivers. I would have saw 1 cop there.
Right.
There was no cops there. And in fact, when I took Aaron there, I had a rapport with that principal.
Right.
And when I dropped Aaron off there, she knew that Aaron was good friends with Michael and Chris. I believe with all my heart that when I dropped Aaron off, she would have come out to my truck knowing that she would have said, Aaron, is your mom out there? Because she would have come out to my truck and talked to me.
Right.
I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And that none of that happened. But they say there were 5 or 6 cops there. They also say that they talked to Aaron in that classroom. Now, my son says that didn't happen. So, he was 8, okay? So, yeah.
Right.
That's on you, if you believe that or not. You know, I didn't see the cops, and I don't know. But I left that school after he went to his classroom. I left that school and drove back to Marion to my trailer. And the babysitter was gone off of the couch. And I got to my trailer, and the babysitter had left. And I went in, and I laid down and was going to go to sleep after working all night. And I had a friend that was in the hospital and that had just had knee surgery. So she called my phone and in a panic. And she said, Victoria, what was Aaron's friend's name? And I'm like, Aaron's friends? And she said, yes, the ones when you lived over on Barton Street. What were his friends? And I said, Mike and Chris? And she said, yes, Mike who and Chris who? And I said, Michael Ward and Christopher Byers. And she said, oh my dear God, Victoria, they're missing. And I swear to you, my heart dropped to my feet. And I said, what do you mean they're missing? And she said, oh my God, they're on the TV on or something. She said, all over the news. She said, they've been missing. They can't find them anywhere. And all I could think about was my son. If my son knew where they were, he would go to them. And I had to get to him.
I had to get to Aaron's because if Aaron knew where they were, he would go to them. And at this point, they're just missing. So I had no idea, no clue, anything, but I knew if Aaron knew where Mike and Chris were, he would go to them. Or if he knew where they were, he needed to tell Todd so that he could help them get on, you know? So I didn't have time to turn you on. All I had time to do was get to Aaron. So I got in my truck and I drove back to Weaver. I ran into the office and she was like, yes, you know, just immediately. And I ran down to Aaron's classroom and got him out of class. I remember just looking at him and saying, Aaron, do you know where they're at? Do you know where Michael and Chris are? And really, it's all kind of a blur. I don't remember if he answered me. I don't really remember. I just remember holding his hand and running to Dana and Todd's. And I remember the minute that I knocked on the door, that Todd just grabbed a hold of Aaron, fell on his knees, and was crying to Aaron. It was like the most saddest day. It was so sad. And just begging Aaron if he knew where Michael was to tell him. And Aaron just having like this zombie stone face, like that he just did just know. And I got down on my knees there with him and said, Aaron, do you have any idea how much it would kill me if you were missing? And Aaron just is zombie, like he doesn't know. And he has nothing to say. He really doesn't say anything. Just that he just kind of wasn't normal acting. I do remember going into Dana's house, Diana and Todd's house, and Dana was on the couch. And she was just rocking back and forth. She couldn't talk to me. There was nothing I could do. Nothing. What do you do? What do you say? So I started out the door. Mark Byers came out his door. My son sprinted for a truck. Started running to the truck. I don't know what was up with that, but I guess Mark was coming over to Todd and Dana's house. They shared a common vector there. And but I started walking in my truck because I had an appointment in Marion, the Marion Police Department, that I had to go to. So I started walking in my truck to go with Aaron, and I get the result of a lie detector test that I had taken like a week before, and I was gonna have to take Aaron with me. So I got in my truck and drove to Marion Police Department.
So you're in the truck, you're on your way to the Marion Police Department, but Aaron's been pretty freaked out by Byers. Oh, it's probably spooked over all these events that are going on. Did Aaron say anything to you?
He said that they're dead twice. But, I took that as
Whoa. He said, who was dead?
It's dead.
When did you say that?
Yeah.
On the way to Marion. But I thought he was just being a hurt little boy. His friend, he was just guessing. I said, Aaron, don't say that. That's not, don't be like that. I was being a mom to a little boy whose friends were missing. I didn't take this as this has turned out.
Right.
This has turned out to be a big thing.
Right.
As to something that it started out to be. Okay, I took this as my little boy, who was 8 years old at the time, 9 years old at the time, had two friends that were missing. And we were driving to Marion. And in my mind, his little mind was thinking my friends might be dead.
Okay, so that's what you thought.
That's what I thought. I
He
wasn't
said-
thinking about this whole big mess.
Right, of course. Who would have thought that?
I was thinking about a normal thing. I wasn't thinking about big mess that this turned into. I was trying to think normal thoughts. This has turned out to be the worst thing that has ever happened in anyone's life. I was thinking normal thoughts. I thought my little boy was thinking that his friends might be dead. And I was just trying to console him.
Right.
So I wasn't lying about him saying that they're dead. People think that I made that up. But no, I was thinking that Aaron was needing to be consoled because that's what he was thinking. This has turned into a real mess now. Years later, but back then, riding in the S10 truck on the way to Marion, they hadn't even been found. And so I was just trying to console my little 9-year-old.
Okay, so you're on your way to Marion in the S10 truck. Bodies have not been discovered yet. And Aaron says his friends are dead.
I said, no, Weird, don't say that. So we arrived at the Marion Police Department, and I had an appointment with the Chief of Police, Don Bray.
You do remember what time? How much time has passed now?
It was probably 9:30, 10. And Don Bray was an awesome guy. Awesome. Like a grandpa kind of guy. Just real easygoing, laid back, awesome, wonderful guy. And he was sitting in there at his desk, and we arrived, and we sat down in front of his desk, and I said, "Hi, Don, how are you?" He said, "Fine, Victoria, how are you?" He said, "Who's this little guy you got here with you?" And I said, "Well, this is my son, Aaron." And he said, "Well, how are you there, Aaron?" And my son was not going to, be talked to. And Aaron didn't respond really. And so I felt the need to, let Don know. I said, "Don, Aaron is, please, overlook Aaron right now. Those were his best friends that are missing." Well, the cop, Don Bray, stepped up, and he said, "Oh my God, Aaron, I'm so sorry, son." And he just gets a rapport with Aaron, kind of like a grandfather-grandson kind of thing, but a thing where they just start talking. Immediately, Aaron just starts talking to Don Bray. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, no, I'm like, no, that, because I see things like, Aaron's talking about a clubhouse. Aaron's talking about where the kids might be. They said they might be at the clubhouse. And I remember them talking about a clubhouse too, but I'm from Bentonville, Arkansas.
Right.
Okay? And Don's saying, "Well, where's this clubhouse at?" And Aaron's describing where it might be at. Well, where it was at. And,
So how did Aaron describe this clubhouse?
the description was that where we lived, you go down there behind the Mayfair Apartments, which was Robin Hood Hill. And because if you ask me right now, I couldn't get you anywhere in West Memphis. Okay, so you're asking me to recall something, and I couldn't.
So Aaron was describing this clubhouse as being in the Robin Hood Hills.
Robin Hood Hills.
And this is before the kids were found.
The kids were being found right then. And Don Bray's just like, and I'm like, they had a name for this place where they went and rode their bikes. And he goes, yeah, he said, that's not a very safe place. And I'm like, oh my God, I would not know that. I'm not from here. And I said, stupid me, I should have went, and he's like, and then I feel really stupid that I even let the kids go play in that place because it's not safe, but that's where they'd go ride their bikes. They said they had a clubhouse, but it was actually in Robin Hood Hills.
What else do you recall, anything that Aaron might have told Don Bray that morning?
Well, immediately he picks up the phone and calls Gary Gitchell. Tells Gary Gitchell about the Robin Hood Hills, and I guess they were pulling the kids up out of the bayou right then. So they were already at bayou at Robin Hood Hills. But then you got 2 and 2 going right there. So they were pulling the kids up out of the water, and I don't know, Don asked me to step out of the office right then. So I stepped out of the office, and he finished talking to Aaron. But I know that he called West Memphis. That's when it all started, Amy. Then the circus started. Because then he was talking to Gary and Brian, and it just, the big circus started. I mean, then we've got Jerry Driver called in, and this is going on, and that's going on. Oh my God. And then I can barely remember stuff. I mean, it's just like my life became a nightmare after that.
So now, Aaron, your little guy, your son, poor guy, is coming to centerpiece in a conversation, stopping everybody, all police officers, Gary Ritchell, Don Bray, Jerry Driver. Well, Jerry Driver's not a police officer, but he's speaking to all these guys. So how many times do you have to speak to people this day? How did the phone calls come about? The day of the murders, right? The day the bodies were actually discovered. So he spoke to Don Bray at the Marion Police Department. After he spoke to Don Bray, did you go home and then get these phone calls after Aaron speaks with Don Bray?
Okay. He talked to Don Bray that day. And I guess Don Bray writes all the stuff down. Okay. And then maybe 2 days later, we meet with Gary Gitchell, Brian Ridge, and Don Bray at the storage building. Don Bray's storage building.
Storage buildings. That's interesting. It's kind of baffling. Why would they talk to you about police business at a storage building? And it doesn't make much sense to me. Can you help me make sense of it?
Right. Well, I couldn't answer you anything about West Memphis Police Department or why anything. You don't question them. You just,
Sure.
They call up and they say, meet us here. And you say, okay. You do what they say. So most of the time they would send a car for us. It wasn't drive our own car. It was they would send a car. Many times we met at the DEA office in West Memphis. That was when they were questioning me. And why is that, you think? Oh, right. That was to intimidate me.
Aaron's so little, he's the one who's getting drilled the most. How is this all impacting him?
He's having nightmare after nightmare. He can't take showers. Aaron couldn't take showers because he thinks that there's the boys are locked underneath him. Can't sleep in bed. He would be in the closet. I would wake up and he would be in his closet, scared. He was so scared. Tried to kill himself 19 times. 19 times. I mean, I can sit here telling you all the different ways he tried to kill himself, but what difference does that make?
He wanted to play baseball. He had an 85 pitch hand. That's good. That's a good pitch hand. Wanted to be a baseball player. But his mind's not right. His mind wanted to do so many things, but his mind couldn't get right. He couldn't get focused. But that's getting off all the subject. After I left Don Bray's office, I went home. And I was at the house, and I guess it had been like 18 hours, and I got a phone call. And I answered the phone, and it was Mr. Byers. Mark Byers, and he wanted to come pick Aaron up and take him to McDonald's to eat. He wanted to take him out to lunch, just 18 hours after they found the boys. He wanted to take my little boy to McDonald's. I don't care if you were President Clinton. You would not have taken my child anywhere. After that, weird stuff starts happening. Okay. Weird stuff. Someone's on my back porch. I don't know who it was. I can't prove who it was. This person had hands that big. Feet that big. Knocked over. I'm a big plant person. I love plants. Knocked over every plant I had, just dumped them out on my back porch, on my patio. And then just stomped them into the concrete, rubbed them in, leaving me a pretty mean message. Just like, I can get onto your patio and kill something that you love very much. It was just something intense to me.
Well, yeah, that one seemed personal. It was like an attempt to get you or Aaron to stop talking. Did you have any suspicion or inkling idea of who it was?
Then, I was just scared.
You're just
Yeah. You know what, then? There was so much going on. There was so much going on in my life. So much. There was, the cops. The cops were like doing so much. My little boy, the whole thing. And everybody was like so against me. And so I just didn't know what to do, where to turn or anything. That I didn't know what, where, when. I just didn't know. And everybody was like, well, you should have called. Who was I supposed to call, really? Well, the FBI. Okay, well, can you give me that number? Could you please give me the FBI's number? And when you do, when you give me the FBI's number, can you give me the secretary? Tell me what to tell that secretary to get me straight through to the FBI. And when I get through to the FBI, tell me what story to tell them so that I don't look like a crazy person. That they don't come and put me in a white jacket in a crazy place somewhere. And when I tell them about having to lie on the stand and the things that I've been through and that my son and the people around me have been through, you just tell me what to do. And you know what? If you can do a better job than I did and been through what I've been through what my family has been through, you tell me what to do. You know what? I will be so happy to have done it. I will be happy to have done it. Because the only thing that has kept me sane is my God. That's the only thing that's kept me sane. My God, my scriptures, and the people that love me and really honest to God believe me. That's all. So don't tell me that you know that what you would have done, because you do not. Do not. Because the only thing that's kept me sane and kept me right is my God. My God. So you call your FBI, you call your police, and you do what you do. I'm going to get down on my knees, and I'm going to believe in my God and what He has brought me through and brought my family through and gave me people in my life. I have people in my life that He's brought into my life for a very good reason. Because this upsets me so bad. But you know what? Today, a very special thing happened to me because I was holding back and I didn't want to do all this. But he brought me a very special sign today. And he said, do this and do this right, because I've got your back. And you know what he did, and he does. And I believe that with all my heart. But to continue with this story, I would like to say that 18 hours after the boys were found, Mark called and wanted to see my little boy. Did not see him. No one had any idea about Aaron. Okay, it was a big secret for a long, long time. No one knew anything about Aaron. No one knew anything about Aaron. There was a reporter, however, that knew about Aaron. I really cannot remember his name. We'll have to dig that out, find out his name and put that in here. But he lost his job because he did not give Aaron's name up. To this day, but he stood strong and did not give Aaron up. And because Aaron was a big secret, and we were all going to keep Aaron quiet and not say anything. West Memphis doesn't tell the part about that they took Aaron and had a rape kit ran on you. They don't tell that part, and he has been raped 5 times. I know that he probably doesn't want to tell that.
Well,
but it is an important part. But Gary Gitchell sent me to a pediatrician in West Memphis, and Aaron had to be tested for rape to see if he had been raped. I can tell you this, Aaron was never raped by anyone I was ever with, but Aaron grabbed my hand.
We conclude this video segment because at this point she trails off and a lot of information doesn't pertain to the case. Victoria Hutcheson certainly is a woman of many contradictions, a woman who seems to tell stories that fit her situation. Whether or not she told the truth, some of it, part of it, none of it, whether it benefited us to even listen to her, is going to be a subject of debate. Join us next time as we take a look in the future at another character in the West Memphis 3, John Mark Byers. Until next time, I'm your host, Doug Duncan, reminding you that once you enter the dark, you may never be the same.